Hello, everyone. My name is Monika Stankiewicz, and I'm Executive Secretary of the Minamata Convention on Mercury. Together with my colleagues, we are doing this short recording for you to focus on Mercury. You might already know that Mercury is a naturally occurring element in the global environment. You may also know that human activities can release and emit mercury to the environment as well. Mercury has been mined and used since ancient times. It has been used in burial ceremonies, in paints in the houses, as aphrodisiac and contraceptive, even to treat syphilis. Until recently, it was also allowed to use mercury in cosmetics. If only people in the past knew what we know today, that mercury is very hazardous to human health and the environment. It's especially dangerous to women and unborn children because it is transmitted through the placenta. We also know that the human activities are responsible for mercury pollution in the atmosphere. The current levels of mercury pollution in atmosphere are 450% higher as natural levels. In spite of all this knowledge and the fact that mercury can be found in every corner of the world, in the Mariana Trench and in the fish and mammals in the Arctic, mercury use still continues. It is used to extract minerals from ore on 4 continents. It is also used in various processes and products in all countries in the world. And what is now different is that a few years back, a new global treaty came into force to protect human health and the environment from mercury pollution. It is called Minamata Convention on Mercury, and its name comes from the Minamata Bay in Japan to remember the tragedy of really heavy pollution in the 50s and 60s of the past century due to industrial leakage and discharges of mercury to the marine environment. And every country or economic integration organization can become a party to the convention. Once a country is a party, it has duties to take measures and actions to reduce and eliminate mercury. And we currently have 131 parties to the convention. As the time goes by, also scientific knowledge have to be increased, and we have to have a better understanding of impacts of mercury on the environment and human health. This is something that my colleague Manuela Miranda, Program Management Officer in the Secretariat, will tell you more about. Over to you.
Thank you, Monica. Good afternoon, everyone. As Monica mentioned, once mercury is released into the environment, it can remain in circulation for thousands of years. Large parts of it ends up accumulating in water-laid sediments, where it converts into an organic compound called methyl mercury. Methyl mercury is extremely toxic to humans, fish, and wildlife because it easily enters the bloodstream and affects the central nervous system. In humans, the main exposure pathway is through diet. And in most people, this happens by eating fish or seafood. In some cases, even rice coming from contaminated paddies can be contaminated with mercury. Because of its toxicity and prevalence, mercury is a significant public health concern and by far the leading environmental contaminant in fish. Many of these species, such as tuna, swordfish, freshwater bass, they accumulate highest levels of mercury, and their consumption are the most common causes of mercury toxicity in many people. Mercury also causes negative impacts on fish and wildlife, but our understanding about the extent of these impacts is very limited, as most studies have focused on the effects on humans. However, there is growing evidence showing that mercury affects the survival and behavior of several species of animals. And it's very likely that it also accelerates and contributes to the global loss of biodiversity. Studies have shown that the effects on a number of fish species, seabirds, turtles, and marine animals range from reduced fertility to impaired development of embryos and negative impacts on blood chemistry. In fish, for example, mercury affects hatching times and the survival rates of the offspring. In some fish, methyl mercury bioaccumulates up to 1,000,000 times greater than in the surrounding water. This is particularly serious because many animals that are at the top of the food chain and therefore accumulate the highest amounts of mercury are also endangered species. This is, for example, the case of many shark species. Predatory fish such as shark and other large fish are essential to maintaining the equilibrium and health of our marine ecosystems. If they disappear, which is in fact happening in many parts of our oceans, many other species will also disappear and may result in a collapse of biodiversity. This is increasingly evident that the impact of mercury on the health and well-being of animals is equal to, if not greater than, the impact on humans. Global action at all levels is urgently needed to stop mercury from entering the environment. This will require concerted effort by all countries to reduce the demand, the use, and supply of mercury, including artisanal and small-scale gold mining, which is a major source of mercury and accounts for 38% of all the emissions. Let me hand over to Richard to give some more insights. Thank you.
Thanks, Manuela. And as you mentioned, artisanal and small-scale gold mining is a major emitter of mercury, and it's happening in 70 countries. And this sector uses mercury primarily to extract gold that they mine during the processing method. Unlike large industrial small scale, unlike and large industrial scale gold mining, artisanal small scale miners use basic methods to extract gold from ore, often including mercury amalgamation in the processing of the ore. It is quite like the North American gold rush of the 1800s, replicated all over the world. Um, the miners are primarily exposed to mercury when they burn it off to eliminate the amalgam. So, in addition to the impacts to fish, other food sources, and land, they are getting a direct hit from the mercury vapor. And when the miners sell their gold to gold buyers, the gold still can have very high levels of mercury, which is further burned off by the gold shops, and is a major source of exposure not just for the miners but also for the shop owners and the residents of the area where the shop is located. But this gold production work is an important source of income to the mining community, and it is itself a complex development issue. However, it can be done in a safe way that is safe for human health and the ecosystem. The Minamata Convention recognizes that this particular fact and takes a sensible approach to addressing this issue. With support from the Global Environment Facility, which was designated as part of the convention's financial mechanism, 12 countries are already implementing their national action plans for artisanal and small scale gold mining in accordance with the convention, and many more are in process. And more than a dozen countries are receiving support to transition their artisanal small scale gold mining practices under the Planet Gold program. This is just one example of how the convention's financial mechanism supports eligible parties to the convention to fully implement their obligations so that together we can make the world a much safer place in terms of addressing mercury risks. Another area where mercury is widely used is in products. Because of mercury's special and unique characteristics and availability, mercury is actually used in a wide range of products and applications, from batteries in our electronic devices, cosmetics, and even in our teeth in the form of dental amalgam. Mercury is a very good conductor of electricity. It forms an alloy with other metals. It's liquid at room temperature and thus very sensitive to pressure and temperature. Not to mention, it also acts as a preservative. The manufacture of these products, use and disposal all contribute to the global mercury pollution. And it's either emitted or released during the product's life cycle. The Minamata Convention seeks to reduce global mercury by addressing the demand of mercury. And part of the big demand for mercury is in products. Now, the convention aims to reduce mercury demand through a combination of measures, phase outs, phase downs, review of existing products, and discouraging manufacturing of new products using mercury. Now, a key thing that folks in the audience would like to should know is that the convention has listed key products for phase out, meaning after 2020, the manufacture, import, and export of these products will be prohibited. Note, though, that many of these products have already available mercury-free alternatives already existing in the market. These are competitively priced and equal, if not better, in performance. A good example of this is light-emitting diodes, or LEDs, which have or now are replacing compact fluorescent lights. Certain products, though, are exempted from the list, and these are, for example, products that are used for civil protection or military uses. Now, in addition to the phase outs, the convention also seeks to are also asking parties to phase down certain products, particularly dental amalgam, by taking two or more measures to pursue in um, managing dental amalgam. These would include, for example, prohibiting the use of dental amalgam in women of childbearing age and on children. Other measures could include promoting mercury-free alternatives and promoting R&D on mercury-free alternatives for dental amalgam. Now, in conclusion, while mercury has found itself in many products around us, it does not mean that we, as part of the global community, are helpless to act. As consumers, people can take simple measures to ensure the Minamata Convention is working for them at a personal level. For instance, you can look at labels of your electronic products before buying them and make sure that there's no mercury contained in it. And very importantly, make sure that at the end of the useful life of the product, dispose of it properly in an environmentally sound way. And if it can be recycled, recycle it. Mercury free alternatives are widely available. Let's be smart as consumers, ask for alternatives, and go mercury free. Now, in sum, um, the implementation of the Minamata Convention on Mercury is investing in sustainable and inclusive development with clear benefits to human health and well being, the economy, and biodiversity. Making Mercury history is also creating a better world for generations to come. So, on behalf of my colleagues, Monica, Manuela, we thank you for your time and listening to us today.